93. You think this fan base is ready and waiting? This stadium was about 3/4 full an hour before the game. Been in a couple of hundred NFL games, never seen a scene like that. And every time the Packers scored, it was played on the big screen, and they cheered, because the Dallas loss means if the Lions win tonight, we're right back in here for a divisional playoff game next weekend. Rams won the toss, defer the option to the second half. Lions are going to receive. Craig Reynolds awaits. Ethan Evans kicks off. Welcome to an NFL playoff game in Detroit. Reynolds, let's go. The Lions are going to take over at the 25. And here's their offense.
Jared Goff, Cal.
David Montgomery, Iowa State.
Jamison Williams, Bama.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, USC.
Josh Reynolds, John Jay High School.
Sam Laporta, Iowa.
Taylor Decker, V. Jonah Jackson, Media Elementary.
Frank Ragnow, Arkansas.
Graham Glasgow, Michigan.
Panay Sewell, Village of Malaimi.
Along with the Eagles, considered one of the best offensive lines in the league. We're going to watch Sam Laporta closely with that knee injury. Practice on Friday in the lineup to start. The NBC's Wild Card Playoff is brought to you by Hyundai. It's your journey. By Untuck It, shirts designed to be worn untucked. Untuckit.com. And by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. As a look in the locker room after the Lions won the NFC North, they got to hang a banner for the first time in a long time, since 1993. North Champs, there's Martha Firestone Ford, the owner and chair emeritus, 98 years old. Been around this franchise since the family owned it, and such a part of everything they do here. Opening drive. Lions tighten up in the red zone on defense. 3 straight incompletions by Stafford. Leads to 3 points for the Rams. Hey, America's Got Talent is back with a twist. For the first time ever, the judges go head-to-head. Whose dream team's going to win it all? It's AGT Fantasy League tomorrow on NBC and Peacock. You talk about Americans with talent. The Motown Museum, where Barry Gordy got so many started over the years. Just a few miles away here in Detroit. America's Motor City and America's Music City as well in so many ways. Lions will take over at the 25. I think you know the story. The Lions in the playoffs hasn't really mixed very well. 1 win in the last 65 years, the 91 divisional game against the Cowboys. And then they lost to Washington in the championship game. It made the playoffs, but 9 straight playoff losses. That's the longest streak in NFL history. That's what they're trying to end here tonight. The last playoff win, Jan 5 of 92, and Dan Campbell is 15 years old. He's 47 now, and has led this resurgence for the Lions. Tonight's 4K Skycam coverage is brought to you by Walmart Plus. On your right, Canada. On your left, the United States. Come along the Ambassador Bridge that connects Windsor, Ontario, and downtown Detroit. And Aaron Donald connecting with his guys on defense, trying to rally the troops as they have been rocked. 15 plays, 14 points, and 145 yards by the Lions to start this one. Along the Detroit River, downtown Detroit, quarter 2 of this wild card game. 14-3 Lions. Concern for the former Lion, now Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford. We'll show you when we get a second. He hit the helmet of one of the Lions who almost sacked him a moment ago, and they were tending to a cut on his hand in the break between the first and the second quarter. NBC's Wild Card Playoff is brought to you by Chipotle. Real ingredients, real flavor. Chipotle, for real. And by Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff, both #1 overall picks in their earlier days, and now the trading places playoff game between these two. Goff has come out terrific. Stafford, just those 3 incompletions in the red zone. He hit every one on that drive to make it a 4-point game, 14-10. When we talk about these two guys and trading places, here was the deal and how it went down a couple of years ago. Stafford walked into Lions ownership, said 12 good years, time to move on. So the package was made, a 3rd and a couple of 1s along with Jared Goff. The 3rd turned into a Fatu Melifonwu, starting safety. They made some trades, and look at the haul they brought in. 5 significant contributors on this Lions team. So it's 6 for 1, but Matthew's got the one that counts. He's got the trophy and the victory cigar. winning the Super Bowl with the Rams. 194 days away, the Summer Olympics return live from Paris on NBC, and you'll see every big medal event as well on Peacock as we are here in a city with significant French roots. Have fun and say DET. Most recognized French settlement in Michigan back in 1701. Well, the snowstorm up Buffalo means Super Wildcard Weekend presented by Verizon's a doubleheader tomorrow. Steelers and Bills up in Orchard Park on CBS. Jim Nance and Tony Romo. And then the Eagles and the Buccaneers on ESPN and ABC. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman will have that. And then we'll all be busy again next week with the divisional playoffs. They're the times, Saturday 4:30 and 8:15 Eastern. And next Sunday at 3 and 6:30 Eastern. San Francisco and Baltimore already there with their byes and the wins for Green Bay, Kansas City, and Houston. More slots to fill. Wow, Chris, quarterback comparison, they've been both outstanding. You get a storyline, sometimes it doesn't deliver. So far, perfect delivery.
Yeah, and I really felt coming into this game, they talked about pressure on these two quarterbacks. I really felt like all the pressure was on Jared Goff. I mean, Matthew Stafford has a Super Bowl ring. He already has proven what he is, right? And on the other side, you've got Jared Goff trying to prove that this is his team now.
Jahmyr Gibbs in the running game is giving him more than Stafford's getting out of the running game as he gains 11 yards out to the 36-yard line. It's such an interesting point that you bring up because of the return and all that stuff. All that's long gone now. Now we're just playing ball. The question becomes which defense can step up at this point?
Well, and so far nobody. And one of the problems that the Lions have had this year is giving up a lot of big plays in the passing game.
Right.
And it's been two big plays in the passing game so far that has really held the Rams in it. Every time it looks like the Lions might break away, they hit another one of those big throws.
With 59 to go in this first half. NFL Pro Bowl games presented by Verizon heading to Orlando. AFC, NFC, and the Skills Showdown on Thursday, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Action continues with flag football, more skills on Sunday. February 4th, ESPN, ABC, and other networks. Rams take over at their own 5 after the penalty. All out. And no interest in taking a timeout. Sean McVay gets the ball to start the second half and take it to the locker room. A fun half. Each team scored on their first 3 possessions. The last 2 come up with nothing, and the Lions take a 4-point lead to the locker room. Here's Melissa.
Sean, your quarterback is back where it all started for him. What did you think of his first half?
He was outstanding. You know, I thought that was great just to get us out of the half right there. 3 scoring drives on 3 possessions, so got to be able to get a stop. I thought that was big for our defense, and now we got to come out and get some points coming out, getting the ball at the half.
Yeah, what adjustments do you want to make defensively? This is a high-scoring game.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. You know, we got to get them into more 3 downs. You know, you see we force some negatives early, and that's going to be key and critical for us to get them off the grass.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, thanks.
Thank you very much. Ball belongs to the Rams and Sean McVay in the second half. Now it's the Toyota halftime. Here's Ahmed Fareed. Ahmed.
All right, thank you, Mike. We're going to hear from Cowboys owner Jerry Jones after another disappointing playoff exit in Dallas. Packers moving on to face the Niners. That's next on the Toyota Halftime.
Want more football stats? Just ask Siri. Who leads the league in touchdown passes? Tonight's first half replay is presented by Progressive.
It's a night Detroit, Michigan has been waiting 3 decades to enjoy.
Generational anticipation out here tonight.
The Lions and the Rams on NBC. To Montgomery, to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit. Gibbs up the middle.
This has been easy.
And Stafford trying to Nakua. He's got it.
This is out of control in here.
Does your coverage need a replay? See if you could save with Progressive.
What a good half here in downtown Detroit. Each team scored in their first 3 possessions. 4-point Detroit lead. Rams get the ball to start the second half. Second most points in the first half of a postseason game for the Lions. Last time this much, 57 NFL championship game, their last title. Nakua, over 100 yards, second most by a rookie in the first half of a playoff game. Keith Jackson, the terrific tight end, the only one with more. It's the second postseason game where we've had 3 rookies score a touchdown in the first half. That too dates back to the aforementioned 57 NFL championship game. As we welcome you back to Super Wildcard Weekend, presented by Verizon. First 3 games, the average margin was 22 points. This one much tighter. 4-point game as we head to second half. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Melissa Stark down on the sideline. Frigid night outside. Warm and toasty in here. Figures to heat up in the second half. Jack Fox kicks. Austin Travel lets it go. And a moment ago, Melissa spoke to Dan Campbell.
Dan, 2 quarters left to get this city its first playoff win in 32 years. What was your message at halftime?
Yeah, look, just defense, we're playing the run well. All right, no more explosive touchdowns. All right, you may give up a couple of plays. That's a good offense over there. We knew that. But no more explosive touchdowns. We need a takeaway desperately. Hell, they haven't even punted yet. So we got to get us a stop. All right, and then that'll change the tide here a little bit. Offensively, we're kicking ass. One play, though. One play, and that's Aaron Donald. He's the guy we got to take care of. He blew the whole thing up, and then we make a mistake, and there you go.
Dan, thanks.
All right, bye.
A timeout, what could be very important time management second half. What you're feeling here as you look into the second half. Take each side.
First of all, Jared Goff was remarkable. When you start to think about the amount of pressure on that young man, they're chanting his name before the game even starts. Everybody in Detroit not only wants to win, but they want to see Jared Goff with his moment. And what better way to do it than against Matthew Stafford out here? And yet Matthew Stafford is like a fighter who's been knocked down twice already, keeps getting up off the mat and throwing haymakers. So this has really become a heck of a match out here.
It's exactly what you hope for with the matchup, and we're getting it.
Let's take a look at the Walmart Plus 4K Skycam. It has been the offensive line of the Detroit Lions getting the job done. Triple teaming Aaron Donald one-on-one everywhere else. But Jared Goff has just been on the money when he has been given that kind of time to throw. From a clean pocket in the first half, 14 for 14, 170 yards, and 1 touchdown. If they can keep that going, they win.
Chicago Wednesday and Law and Order Thursday return. Look forward to that. 2 full nights of all new drama. So Chicago Wednesday and Law and Order Thursday. All new on NBC and Peacock. Take a ride over the Ambassador Bridge. We're here on the U.S. side in Detroit. Lions lead by 7. Jack Fox kicks. Travel will let it go. Touchback, and the Rams will start this drive at the 25-yard line, Chris.
There's no doubt about it. The story of this game in the first half is that these 2 cornerbacks have been consistently being beaten down the field. It has been Kendall Vildor and Cameron Sutton. Each have given up long touchdowns in that first half. And so Dan Campbell said, guys, just keep it in front of you. There's Vildor one more time. And for the Lions defensively, if they can just keep the ball in front of them, they probably would have had a big lead here.
Big yard lines. We talked about Puka Nacua Pokemon cards as a kid, or maybe your kids did. Well, Puka's been the man this year after a good high school career in Utah. Starts at Washington, ends up at BYU, picked in the 5th round. They loved his toughness. Just felt that, forget the testing numbers, this guy looks good playing football. He's going to come in and do that, and the numbers show it. 4th in the league in receiving yards, and he broke a 63-year NFL record for most reception yards by a rookie. On the Thursday night before Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas, NFL's brightest stars recognized the best plays, the best moments of this past season. Tune into NFL Honors Thursday, Feb 8, 9 Eastern on CBS and NFL Network. See Comerica Park, right next door to Ford Field here in downtown Detroit. Still watching the blue tent. Matthew Stafford went in to be examined. We will continue to watch. Let's kick a touchback. The ball at the 25-yard line for Detroit. Take you back as Stafford was walked back to the tent, holding his side after the hit, but also Chris took a big hit with his helmet on the turf.
Well, Hutchinson here is going to get the first shot, then McNeil, but watch this pose here. I mean, it looks like, I don't know, you can't speculate, right? But his head hit the turf hard there.
You're watching Super Wild Card Weekend, presented by Verizon. A little trip by the scoreboard, get a new video board over there at Comerica Park. And the Detroit Athletic Club, beautiful building there, right in the heart of downtown Detroit. What a playoff game this has been. 24-20 Lions lead. And you come back to the fourth quarter, and the punter's out. Called as he was standing over there. You know, we talk about the long-time drought for Detroit, and all the big names and familiar faces have shown up. The great runner, Barry Sanders. Calvin Johnson, who set records with Matthew Stafford. Man who opened our show tonight. Michigan-made Eminem, who's a regular feature here. But it's also about the fans who aren't the celebs, like Benjamin Kapp, Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Lions season ticket holder, 66 years, 89 years old. He was at the last championship in 1957. He's here tonight. Deal or No Deal is back with an island twist. More adventure, more risk, and way more money. It's Deal or No Deal Island, premieres February 26th on NBC and Peacock. Get a good deal at Mom's Spaghetti. It's about a mile here from Ford Field, and that's the owner of that place, Eminem. You can come check it out if you're an NFL fan. Come to Detroit in late April. The NFL draft will be right here in downtown Detroit, so you can stop and get some Mom's Spaghetti at Eminem's place.
See you there.
All right, touchback. Goff and the Lions take over the 25, +1 on the big board. NBC's Wild Card Playoff game brought to you by Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL. Let's go places. And by Verizon, the official 5G network of the NFL. See the team logos on Thursday night with drone show over the Michigan Central Station, which is going to reopen this summer. Used to be the old train station in town. The Ford family that owns the Lions is also Ford Motor Company, done a lot of work on innovation in the future of mobility in America, and a lot of it will be centered in that beautiful building. It's a classic building restored and opening up this June. Super Wild Card Weekend presented by Verizon concludes tomorrow. It's a doubleheader because of the snow in Orchard Park. Things getting better there. Steelers, Bills, CBS 4:30. Eagles, Buccaneers, 8 Eastern, ESPN and ABC. Divisional playoffs will follow. We'll have the divisional playoff schedule at the end of tonight, so stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for this finish. The Detroit Lions, the Los Angeles Rams, two teams who've given us a lot tonight. What's in store in the final act of this wild card game? Coming up after the game, the Chevrolet postgame, Melissa will interview the stars of the game. We'll announce the divisional schedule. That's coming up. We know Green Bay will play San Francisco. The winner of this game will play the winner of tomorrow night's Philadelphia-Tampa Bay game. It's done. And Detroit, for the first time in 32 years, your Lions have won a playoff game. Have at it. To win the longest drought of 9 consecutive playoff losses. January 5th, 1992 was the last time the Lions won a playoff game.
And guess what? They're going to get another one here next week.
You run it back. It's January 14th in downtown Detroit. But it looks like Christmas Day and New Year's Eve all rolled into one.
Dan Campbell willed this football team to victory. Jared Goff, from the opening play tonight, was on it. He was confident, he believed in himself, and the whole restructure of what Jared Goff was as a quarterback that took 3 years to get to this point, to build him back up, has paid one of the great dividends in Detroit history.
That second to last hug that you saw was with Jake McQuaid, former Los Angeles Ram, the long snapper for the Lions. There's the athletic trainer for the Rams, Reggie Scott, as well. As Matthew Stafford walks up the tunnel, they're going to come back here and play a regular season game next year, but Matthew Stafford is loved in this city and respected, but it's that quarterback's town now, Jared Goff's town.
And
the Lions will run it back for another playoff game. The offense only had 3 points in the second half when they needed it. The combination that did it all year. Goff to St. Brown, first down, and down go the Rams. And Sean McVay, who had a really good run this year of building a young team we're going to see a lot of. But the young team built those kneecap biters, Dan Campbell and the Lions, have finally